Now, it seems to be an experiential. We started off this way. So take a deep breath with me and hold it in. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Okay, let it out. Phew. Did you feel like if you held it one more second, you would pass out? Yeah, and you probably would, right? Because we're designed, we're alive because life is designed to flow and circulate. Our breath is designed to circulate, right? We breathe in, we take it in, it enlivens our body, it enlivens us, it gives us life, and then we release it. And the thing is, we can't even take any more in once we've held that breath until we release what we've been holding on to. And the beautiful thing is that breath that we release, it goes to feed the trees and the plants, that it's the nourishment for the trees and the plants, and in return, they give us oxygen. What a nifty deal, right? What an amazing system. I mean, we live in a system that's designed to work so that we all work with one another. We are designed to cooperate with nature. We're not designed to dominate or control or manipulate. We're designed to work with it, cooperate with nature. We're designed to cooperate with one another. This is the way it's built into the system. And we can see this in just about every aspect of life, right? Every aspect of life. Life is meant to flow freely in order to work properly. We consume food, our body takes it in, nourishes us, and then when we're ready, we release it, right? And if that system gets backed up, it's uncomfortable, right? Our blood is meant to circulate in our circulatory system, and if any of those blood vessels gets restricted, the blood can't flow, freely, and it's dangerous. Right? I just got back from the ocean, and I really spent a lot of time just being present with the waves and looking at the ebb and flow. The waves come in, the tide comes in, and the tide goes out. For millions of years, this has been true. And entire ecosystems are dependent on that happening. Entire ecosystems. As I've said a few times before, the Dead Sea is called the Dead Sea because nothing grows in it, because there's no outlet. Everything is designed to be shared and circulated, in order to function properly. If we don't share our love, we become isolated and we find ourselves without friends. If we don't share our energy in positive ways, we can become anxious and depressed and even tend to, hold on to excess weight. Life is meant to be moved and circulated and flow freely in exchange with one another in this beautiful system of working together. It's designed to do that. And when that doesn't happen, it becomes a big problem. So, why is it different when it comes to our finances? Why do we think we need to hold on to what we've got, for fear that we won't have any more? We don't have that same thing when it comes to air. We're not afraid to exhale for fear there won't be any more air. We don't hold on to our breath. We don't refuse to give blood for fear that our body won't make any more. We don't refuse to eliminate for fear that our body won't have any more nourishment, right? We don't refuse to give of our joy for fear that we're not going to have any more. We innately trust that when we give, when we share, life will provide, because it does. We know this in every aspect of our life. So, why do we have trouble knowing that when it comes to our financial well-being? Why is that different? Well, it's because of all the false ideas and fears that we've put on this idea of money. And we talked a lot about this last week. Pat Webster was here and shared with us these 5 blocks to our abundance, and we looked at it in our book study groups. If you belong, how many of you are attending one of the book study groups? You find it helpful? It's really, you begin to work with this stuff, right? So hopefully you had a chance to, and many of you have the book, so hopefully you've had a chance to look through it, identify which one might be, something that you can work on, right? And maybe you've begun to work on it and shift that. So hopefully that's in process. So living from a mindset of getting, that's what we do in our culture, a mindset of getting, while holding on to what we have, is one of those big blocks to abundance. So we're going to talk about just that today, and we're going to explore 7 practical practices that will help free us and get us back into the flow of abundance. And this is based on the 3rd chapter in this book that we are studying this month, which is the Abundance Project, right? And it's chapter 3, the 7 gifts that give you everything. And that's what it is, right? The 7 gifts that give you everything. And so this can be true for any area of your life that you feel is not circulating the way you would like it to, right? So you can apply it to any area. And of course, this is the whole thing is based on this idea that whatever we're not getting, we're not giving. So, ready to jump into the 7? Yes? Yay! Okay, let's start with number 1. The first idea is giving out. So this is about living from the inside out as opposed to the outside in, which is where most people live, right? That's where most of us live. So we want to be willing, just to be willing to jump into the concept of giving, of sharing our time, talent, and treasure. And it's not about the amount. It's not about quantity. It's about finding a level for yourself that causes you to stretch, to dig deep, and to embody a larger sense of yourself. To embody a greater idea. You know what I'm talking about? And that idea in itself is really important. So I'm going to take that and put it in, and we're going to talk about that idea next week, because it's really important. So Derek always talks about in the book that there is something new that's wanting to emerge, that's waiting to emerge through you, right? There's something new that's just wanting to emerge. There's something new wanting to emerge in this community. You feel it? Aho! There's something new that wants to emerge in the world. Yes. The question is, are we willing to be the place that can happen? So this is what Derek says in the book. He says, the universe is looking for willing channels that it can claim more territory to fulfill its greater purpose. When you're willing to be that place of giving now, not by waiting, but giving now, life says, we got a live one. Let's pour more through them. Right? That's it. And when we do this, when we find this rhythm of giving, of getting into this whole idea of circulation, it gives so much to us. You know, it's really about how it gives to us. It gives us a sense of joy and satisfaction and fulfillment like nothing else can. It's like that thing that Albert Schweitzer said. I guess he was talking to a graduating class. You've probably heard this. And he says, I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I know, the only ones among you who will be really happy are those who will have sought and found a way to serve. Who will have sought and found a way to serve. And he should know. He spent his life in service, right? Okay, idea number 2, giving away. This is about the blockages that we create in our lives by holding on to junk. You know, the stuff we no longer use, the clothes we no longer wear, the drawers that are full of stuff that we don't even know what it is anymore, right? Pieces of things that you're never going to get around to fixing. Yeah, I hear some giggles of recognition. Right? Appliances that no longer work. So not too long ago, I noticed that on our key, that we have like a little key thing on the wall that's going into the garage because our cars are in there. And I noticed there were keys to cars we no longer owned. It's like, let it go, right? Let it go. What are we holding on to this for? Let it go. It represents our old ways of being that we've long since grown out of. And keeping it around keeps the energy, which remember wants to circulate, keeps it stuck. So, your assignment this week, guess what? Is to identify something. Find something, a drawer, a closet, maybe on your desk, an area on your desk. You start small. Or, maybe you want to tackle something big. The garage. Take something and clear it out, clean it up, and then just notice how well you can breathe afterwards. There's space has been created. Space for something new to flow in, right? Something new and greater to flow in. Okay, the next one is giving up. Give up. No, don't give up your dream. I would never suggest that. This is giving up the clutter in our inner junk drawer. The clutter in our inner junk drawer, like resentments, complaints, criticism, judgment, you know what they are. We all have it, right? We all have it. It's part of how we try to navigate, our small self kind of navigates through the world. We hold on to resentments because, somewhere in us we feel that that's protecting us against, getting hurt again maybe. Or maybe we feel we're punishing that person. It's a way of, revenge on that person by holding on to resentment. Or we criticize or we complain as a way to vent our frustrations, which is good, right? We need that. That's a healthy thing. It's just we're fooled if we think that by doing that, we're being productive or proactive by complaining, right? We criticize and we judge as an unconscious way to, feel better about ourselves. Or maybe we're projecting a shadow, our own unhealed shadow, onto someone else. We project what we can't accept within ourselves. Maybe that's what's going on. And see, none of this, when we think about all this rationally, we go, that's silly. That doesn't make any sense, silly. But it's not rational, is it? No. This stuff is not rational. It lives in the mind of that little separated self that's working overtime to keep us protected. That's where it lives. And another thing that Derek talks about that we don't normally think as part of this inner junk drawer is the idea of having rigid opinions and strong viewpoints about what should be and what shouldn't be. This is part of this. And this, he says, comes from, maybe our childhood or from someplace long ago, and we're just holding on to it for dear life. And we're holding on to the block that is blocking our energy. So with all of this, we want to clear it out. We want to clean it up and clear out this inner junk drawer so that we can experience. We clear out this block so that we can experience being in the flow of more good, so that we can allow that thing that wants to emerge, that larger vision in our life, to manifest, to emerge. We do this, if we want to experience, there's all a choice here. But if we want to experience greater fulfillment and joy and abundance in our lives, we need to do some inner work in clearing this stuff out, because it blocks the channels, right? And, I say that like it's an easy thing to do. Wanting to clear this stuff out and actually doing it kind of falls into that category of easier said than done, right? So we're going to do an exercise in the book study group that will help with this. But in the meantime, just put a little mental tag, right, in your brain, and just to pay attention to this impulse to, judge and complain and, criticize and hold resentments or, hold on to this rigid viewpoint. Just notice. And when you notice yourself doing it, don't beat yourself up. Just like, there it is again, right? There it is again. And then just take a deep breath and just feel it releasing. Just feel it releasing. It's all a matter of really noticing and paying attention to this. Okay. The fourth idea is giving in. This is about surrendering the ego. Every Sunday when we get together, what do we sing in our meditation? I surrender. We're surrendering that small separated self. We're surrendering our need to manipulate and control, and instead allow a larger self to emerge, to come forth. We're surrendering our need to make things happen and instead make them welcome. We're surrendering that little, small, limited view of our lives. We have sometimes this really limited view. This is what's possible for us. We're surrendering that and instead yielding to the larger vision that wants to manifest for us. That's what we're doing with surrender. Okay? All right. The next idea is giving thanks. Thank you, Maria, for definitely for setting this up, because and Eric, the thing about frequency, this all works together, right? And Rydell says in the book, gratitude is not just a nice idea, a good moral value, or a virtue. It's literally the corresponding frequency that tunes us into the flow of good and makes us a channel for it. Yeah. We talk about gratitude here a lot at UCP because, it's my favorite topic. I've seen it change people's lives. I've seen it change my life. But I've never really quite thought about it in the terms of this. Gratitude helps us to pay attention to all of the good that's already there, but we're just not paying, we just don't know. So when we notice it, and we're talking about a consistent practice of gratitude, not just a one-off, consistent practice of gratitude gets us in that vibrational frequency. We're in tune with the frequency. The frequency is always there, right? But if we're over here talking about, what's wrong, what's bad, we're out of tune, right? We're out of tune. We want to get into the frequency by noticing and being grateful for the good that is all around us. A consistent practice of gratitude will get us there. It's amazing. Okay, this sixth idea is giving to yourself. Let's take a moment, close your eyes, take a deep breath, connect in with your heart center, and ask yourself, if I really loved myself completely, how would I treat myself? If I really loved myself completely, how would I treat myself? And then look at the areas of your life that you might be waiting for someone else to give you something. Whatever that is, recognition, appreciation, love, a commitment, abundance, whatever it is that you're waiting for somebody to give you something. And then ask yourself, how can I give this quality to myself? How can I give this quality to myself? Breathe. All right. I want you to work on that little meditation this week, and we'll be doing more of that in the book study too. Okay. Now, the last idea that we have here is forgiveness. And forgiveness, of course, is a gift that we give to others, but more importantly, it's a gift that we give to ourselves because it releases us from the heavy burden of resentment. And it's a heavy burden on our mind, on our emotional body, on our physical body when we're holding on to resentment and unforgiveness. So that's a big one. That's a big one that causes that resistance and blocks the channel for the good to flow in and to flow out. And as I've said here many times, and I'll say it again, the key to being able to forgive anyone is to recognize that everyone does the best they can with the consciousness they have at the time. We can't do any more. We can't do any better than the consciousness we have at the time. So you're not condoning the behavior, but you are accepting the person and knowing that they've always done the best that they could with the consciousness they had at the time and may have been acting out of that small separated self, right? Or some unhealed wounds or whatever. But we do the practice of forgiveness, of releasing, and it opens it up. Major. The flow of life energy can flow again. So, being a giver, a generator of love, a generator of life energy is the secret to living a joyous, fulfilling, and abundant life. That's it right there. Just that one thing, just that one shift can absolutely shift your whole experience. So you've got in your program a little handout that has these, just real briefly, these 7 points that kind of go along with the book so that you can work on this week, right? With the sheet, with the book study, however you want to be supported. And there's a lot of support here for you, right? So take advantage of it, jump into it, it's here. Yes? Are we going to do this week? Yes! All right. And so it is. Namaste.
Hi.
If this video has inspired you, opened your heart, expanded your consciousness, filled you with hope, empowered you in some way, we encourage you to support what we offer here at Unity Center of Peace by making your donation now. And thank you.